Are you tired of having skins that look like this? Wouldn't you much rather have skins that look something a little bit more like this? Well, luckily for you, I am going to be teaching you how to properly modify skins in Phantom Forces. I'll be going over both how to get skins and how to customize them. I'm also going to go over some skin combinations I've found to look really good that everyone can use. If you follow this guide, you will be able to create quality skins in no time. Alright, so first and foremost, we're going to want to head to the inventory page. And in your inventory, you can get keys and cases. You can obtain these by logging in every day, winning games, playing well, buying them at the case key shop with your credits from leveling up or winning MVP. You can open up case with the corresponding key, and if you don't have the key or the case, you can go to the case key shop and you can buy the case or the keys. Usually, I would only recommend buying tier 5s because that's where you get all the customizable skins. When you open up each case, such as, let's say we're going to open up the core 5 case here. Every single skin that you hear will say common, uncommon, its rarity, and then some, after you get past a certain rarity, depending on the tier of the case, it'll say customizable, and that's what you want. You really want the customizable skins, because that's what's going to give you free liberty over making the really, really aesthetically pleasing skins for the guns. Common skins or uncommon skins, just flat out, without the customizable tag, make it so that you cannot actually change what it looks like. It is locked looking like that. So Crimson Blood will always be red, it'll always be this pattern, and it will always be this scale. But something like Snow White, you could change the color, the background color, the size, the scale, everything. So you really want to aim for the customizable skins. Like, in my inventory, all my skins are customizable pretty much. I pretty much just scrap anything that isn't customizable. Except for maybe some solid colors, because every now and then they kind of look good. But yeah, you're going to want to aim for the customizable skins. The better the case is in tier, the more in the case are going to be customizable. Like tier 1, every single one is uncustomizable for every single case. But once you get to tier 5, every single skin in each case is customizable. Don't buy the creator case though, because that has some of the ugliest skins known to mankind. And finally, if you want to trade up skins, like if you want to trade in one of your skins and get something better, you can. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it like ever. I think it's better to just sell and then buy a case. Like, I could sell my skins, buy a case, assign it for free, so I can choose whatever gun I want this case to be on. So if I wanted to get a... What keys do I have? Let's say I wanted to get a cuboid case key, or a cuboid case, and I have the key, right? So I choose the cuboid case, and I really, really want a skin for the SKS. I can assign the weapon for free, buy the case normally, and it'll be assigned to that, and every single skin inside of that will be for the SKS specifically. You can also assign cases that you already own, but it's going to cost some money. Just click on assign weapon, and then see for this case, the assignment costs 40 bucks. So I wouldn't super recommend that usually, unless you love a gun and you don't have any skins for it. Alright, so now that we've obtained the skin for the gun that we want to customize, we're going to go to the weapon loadout, go to weapon skin, and then we're going to use the HK416 as an example. I have a customizable skin on it, and we're going to throw it on. So there's two options, there's two categories, brick and texture, and then a whole bunch of sub-options in each category. So brick color is going to change the color of the actual brick, so not the pattern on top, but the actual brick itself. And then material is going to change the actual material of the brick, so neon would make it super bright, granite, marble, those are both rocks, they're going to be darker. Ice is very similar to glass, they're both shiny. Cobblestone, same with the metals. Whole bunch of metals here and rocks that all have a little dark texture. They're a lot like, if you know the Roblox basic textures, they're all based off that until we get down here to force field and glass. Force field is actually transparent, so you can make your gun skin transparent if you want to, if you turn down the transparency on the texture. The fan favorites are going to be neon, glass, and force field. I personally think neon's the best. I sometimes use force field, and glass is super nice sometimes, but not always. Next up, we have Reflectance. Reflectance only really works on glass and ice, and it's pretty much going to lighten the brick and make it so that light reflects off it to make it more shiny. Next up, onto the textures. Texture color is going to change the actual patterns color. For leopard, it doesn't actually change anything, so let me go find something that does change real quick. Alright, so for this one, if we change the texture color, it would change just the actual texture that there is. So some skins have just a brick you can change, some have just a texture you can change. The best skins, you can change both, because that gives you the most flexibility in what you want to choose. Next, we have transparency, which is going to change how much of the pattern you can actually see. You can't actually make it completely transparent to make it just a brick, but you can make it 90% transparent. And then we got the studs per tile, the X and the Y. So this will stretch it out horizontally or vertically. Defaults at 1. So you can go down to 0.1, I think. Yeah, 0.1 or up to 5, both horizontally and vertically. And the offset is how much left or right it shifted. So this is left and right, and then vertical is up, down. And yet again, defaults at 1. So now that we've established what everything does in the actual weapon skin settings, let's get to customizing the HK 416 skin right now. So I'm thinking we're going to start out with making the center a glossy kind of like metallic looking thing. So we're going to try to make it nice and light, and we're going to change it to glass and make the reflectance go up. So that's going to make it real shiny in game. But we're going to increase the transparency to make it even more shiny. So I'm thinking like about 0.8. That seems pretty good because you can still see a little bit of the texture, but it's super shiny, as you can tell. And then we're going to make the actual like side of the texture bigger so you can see the stain, like the spots more. So I think that looks pretty good, and then we're gonna shift it around to make it a little bit more perfect. And there we go for that part. And then I'm thinking we're gonna mix and match and make the mag type of kind of like neon-ish, maybe pale neon color, and then maybe stretch it out, something like that. All right, that looks decent. That looks decent. Maybe we can make this a little bit more better offset so the darker areas are towards the top, so kind of like fading down. And yeah, let's make it a little bit lighter. We could change it. Yeah, dark doesn't look as good. I think we should match with the light color theme. Maybe something like this. I think that looks pretty nice. Obviously, there's tons of ways that you can do this. You can inverse it. You can do whatever. I'm thinking right now, this does look pretty decent. That was done in like 45 seconds, so you can do anything really. The limitations are endless. This was a pretty nice skin for this kind of texture. It has like a nice little ripple effect in the center. I'm gonna do like 1 or 2 more examples, and then I'm gonna give you guys some like base patterns. Alright, so next up we're going to be using the Spaz 12, which we have halftone for, which in my opinion is one of the best skins in the game to actually customize. It just has a very nice basic color that you can start with. I'm thinking maybe a red and black design here. So like red being the main color, black being a nice back color. So I'm thinking we're going to make the grip and stock a dark red, and then actual gun like bright red, like bright pinkish red. Alright, so we got this as bright red, so I'm thinking like a nice pinkish color. That's a little too light, so maybe something more like that, so it's super bright. Yeah, that looks nice. They're not exactly complementary colors, but I think they go relatively well together. I have already made a shotgun like this. This is probably the best gun I've ever made right here. This is great. So I'm thinking, yeah, so honestly, if you wanted to, blue and pink, greatest color combinations ever. Blue, white, pink, white, those 3, all great combinations if you need inspiration. Right now I'm going to go for a red, pinkish combo. I don't know. It's going to look good, don't worry. We're going to get the stock to be a nice granite texture, a nice deep, dark texture. And we're going to get the main actual frame of the gun to be neon. And then next up, we're going to make halftone the actual texture a little bit smaller. 0.5 looks good. And then honestly, default looks pretty good with this one. And then for this one, we're gonna try out 0.5 as well. And just like that, pretty quickly, we got a nice looking skin. You can make a couple tweaks here. You can just Reflectance doesn't do much because it's on the neon effect right now, but a little bit of transparency changes the amount of red. You can change the texture color, obviously. I don't know. You do purple. That looks pretty interesting, but I'm gonna stick with red for now. There we go. It was something like that. And just like that, we got a pretty nice skin right here. Nothing too crazy, but it is nice. You know. Alright, and next up we're going to be doing a pistol. So for pistols, I usually like to make the actual like barrel top polymer part. We're gonna make that like nice and transparent, and we're gonna turn it into a glossy, like metallic looking texture, so it's nice and shiny, kind of like, you know, the like Glock fade from CS:GO, kind of like that is what I'm thinking, right? And we're gonna make it nice and pink, because pink's always a nice color to have. Doesn't really matter. Let's just do 4 for both. You can barely see the texture anyways, but it is there, and it does look pretty nice. So that's that. And let's do pink again. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. So now we got the frame, or sorry, we got the barrel looking pretty good. Next we gotta do the frame, and you can do this a whole bunch of ways. Let's go with like a dark purplish. Let's actually do glass again. This time we're not going to do reflectance. This time we're going to be doing transparency, and we're going to make it nice and shiny and plasticky without making it look like metal. We're going to make it, so let's do 2 by 2, or 2 and 2, so you can see the mesh pattern on this. I'm not going to try to pronounce that, on this skin, but it's not taking up the whole thing. Let's slide it a little. And that looks pretty good. I mean, man, just look at that. Tell me this doesn't look great in-game. Yeah, I think pistols are definitely the easiest skins to make because they all kind of look good. Alright, and then after this, I'm just going to show everybody some very common and simple setups that I do for skins. And now finally, I'm just going to go over some quick combinations that I found to look pretty good. First off, we've got the blue and white pattern going vertically. Just edit the texture and set the vertical to max, and then the horizontal to least, and then set the colors whatever you like. I always do blue and white because I think it looks pretty clean. Next up, if you have a good skin that you really like, you can just set it to the basic skin, maybe make it a little bit bigger, and then set the other, like for this one I have a cherry blossom one on, and then I set the attachments and the rail to plastic, and then a color that complements it. Or if you really like a skin, you could set the whole gun to that skin. Works really good for the Sans and anime one if you want that. Actually, there's more than just that. This one's actually kind of fire too. Setting it to neon and then a nice material always makes it look pretty nice too. Sure up neon with nice colors always looks nice. And if you ever want to have a good wooden texture, you can use any customizable skin, set the transparency to max, material to wood, and then color to reddish brown, and texture color to... I'm just using CGI. Texture color doesn't change that much on this skin. And you can always have a skin that uses a transparent part like this one. Set the material to force field, and then set the transparency to max, and you got a practically invisible block for the back end of your gun. Overall, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to drop a like and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to leave a comment, I always read the comments, and sometimes if I'm in a good mood, I'll respond to it. You can go follow me on TikTok if you're feeling generous, and see you guys in the next video.